Miami Dolphins are next on our team list in the AFC East, featuring 2 primetime games against the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and 1 Christmas Day game against the Green Bay Packers in Week 16. Dylan, what is your storyline heading into the 2022 season for the Miami Dolphins?
Well, it's put up or shut up for Tua Tagovailoa. I'm sick and tired of hearing it, all right? I know he's year 3 in the league now. It's put up or shut up. I mean, every single year this guy's injured. And he's only been 2, but go back to his college days, you'll see it. You'll see a track record there too. Very overhyped. There's games where he looks good. There's games where he looks absolutely atrocious. You got to show up. You bring in a Tyreek Hill. You start making moves on this team. You start assigning players. This is the year he has to do it. He has not passed the eye test for me yet. I cannot stand Tua Tagovailoa. I don't think he's a starting quarterback in this league. And this is going to be a tough test right now for him because he's got to put up or shut up with a roster like that in a division like this, to where he could finish second in the division if he's happy or if they're lucky. But he doesn't have it, and he's got to put up or shut up.
Yeah, as we get to the second half of this division, this is one of the most sit-on-the-fence divisions that are in the NFL this season, because I look at these teams, and all we just said about the Patriots, they do still have Belichick. What we think about Miami and Tua Tagovailoa, they did just do a lot to help him out and help the other side of the ball out. That secondary is going to be real. We haven't talked about the Jets yet, but we all love what they did in the draft, and we all believe in what Robert Saleh can do with the defense. So I look at this Miami Dolphins team, and I have them in the middle of the pack because I really can't call it. While they have the roster to be an 11-6 team, a maybe 10-7 type team, with Tua, with all these new motions, I don't know if they're going to get past 8-9, 9-8. I don't know if I can believe in it because I haven't seen it. Now, there are a lot of people around the NFL who believe what they did with Teron Armstead and getting all the running game with Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert, bringing in Tyreek Hill, obviously one of the top receivers in the league, still having Mike Gesicki, that they have all the requisite tools to do what needs to get done. And it's not fair because there's other teams that I believe in, and with this team, I'm ready to say I just need to see it. But that's just how I feel, because with Tua Tagovailoa, all the years he wanted to believe, and despite the 7 or 8 game win streak, there was a lot that went into it. And this is another defense, in my opinion, that kind of regressed. I don't think they have the same piece. That secondary, fantastic. I don't see the edge rush that they once had. Jalen Phillips is going to be fantastic. I don't see the front 7 that they once had. I think that's the problem. If you can't get to the quarterback and they got time to throw, well, that doesn't really do much for your secondary either. So I think this team is going to fall middle of the pack. And once again, I love to be proven wrong.
Yeah, I think that's not even necessarily a bad thing for the Dolphins. Like I know last year they went on that win streak and everyone was gushing about that, but I never bought into that. They finished 9-8 last year, and I know if we were to say okay, they go 8-9 this year, 9-8 again this year, it'd be a bad thing because it's just continuing that same track. But I didn't buy them last year. You look at that win streak they had: Houston, Baltimore, who was without
everybody.
Lamar Jackson. Yeah, without everybody, basically. The Jets, the Panthers, the Giants, the Jets again, the Saints with Ian Book. And I mean, so their win streak that pushed them to where they were wasn't that great. And I just talked about with the Patriots schedule. It's a similar thing with the Dolphins schedule. You start off, sure, the New England game, you could win that game, but Baltimore, Buffalo, Cincinnati, at New York, who got better, Minnesota, a good coached Pittsburgh team. I don't mean to put the Jets on the same level as the Bengals or the Bills and the Ravens and stuff like that, but you go from week 1 to week 7, you got 1, maybe 2 easy games in that stretch. The rest are going to be hard fought wins. So you might end up seeing this Dolphins team go through a similar stretch last year, and I don't know if they can bounce back, because you look, their win streak last year started in week 9. Week 9, Chicago, sure, they could win that game. But Cleveland, Houston, they could win that game. But then on the road at San Francisco and at Los Angeles and at Buffalo and Green Bay, you're not going to be able to go on that type of stretch run like you did last season to make up for poor play at the start of the season, which can be and is expected at the beginning of the season when you're playing a tough schedule like that. So I like where you guys both went talking about Tua, because it is put up or shut up for Tua this year. You could give him another year to develop. That's fine. But he's got to show something. He's got to show something of promise, some type of promise this season to be that type of quarterback. Because unlike the New England Patriots, which we just talked about, they also brought in tons of weapons to build around their franchise quarterback. Tyreek Hill, Cedric Wilson, you drafted Jalen Waddle. I mean, this is a team. You've got Mike Gesicki still there. You went out and paid and extended Mike Gesicki. You brought in 15 running backs to play the San Francisco 49ers style of football. You got all pieces for Tua there to make him a good quarterback. Now it's time to do it, and I don't know if he can. And this is someone who I was rooting for Tua, but I got to be honest with myself. I don't know if he can do it.
Too bad it'll be Teddy Bridgewater's team by midseason. I mean, that's the thing. If Teddy Bridgewater is an 8-9 quarterback here with this roster. I seriously think he is. And I will wait. I will wait to see if Tua can do anything. And I hate that. It's my pet peeve. Thanks a lot, Stinton. I don't want to do this here with Tua Tagovailoa because it's ridiculous how it just doesn't pass the eye test. You get a new head coach in there, Logic, Bobby Tarantino, Mike McDaniel, whatever you want to say there. He comes in there. He's going to implement his own little system that he's got. He's got his 15,000 running backs that work well with Shanahan in San Francisco, and they're just going to give it a go. And I think it's a recipe for disaster. Every single year you see a team overhyped, whether it's the Browns last year or the Bears in 2019 coming off that 12-4 season. Every year, and both of those teams, right, had questions. You thought they were all right with the quarterback position. Trubisky, great year 18. He's going off in 19. No. Oh, Baker, good year in 20, going off in 21. No. Oh, Tua, this is a shot. No. Okay? I'm sick and tired of it. Every year, teams are overhyped. This is the one that you circle in red ink. You break out the Sharpie for this one. Circle them big on the calendar and say, this is a team that's going to underperform, and this is a team that's overhyped. That's the Miami Dolphins this year.
You really feel that type of way about Tua, man. Look, hey, I'm not gonna knock you. I just got through saying I don't know if they can do it. I will say this is the best team Tua's had since he left Alabama, respectively.
Yeah.
As NFL team terms, and that's quite possibly enough for him to show what he's capable of. But the key thing for Tua is gonna have to be consistency. It's not just we can see what you can do. What he's shown he's capable of doing is why he's still there right now, which is why they went out and got a bunch of pieces for him, because clearly they like the guy. Clearly they think he has talent. They just have to find a way to unleash it. And if he can't do it with the Jalen Waddle and a Tyreek Hill and all the other names we listed and the protection they went and got him, well, then it's probably just the best that he's not going to do it, at least in Miami. Maybe he's your favorite guy to talk about. Maybe he's the next Marcus Mariota, and he has to go find a second place to go stand behind, and then eventually go and play somewhere in a few years. But I do think he's earned the right to have this chance this year. And like I said, I'm slightly sitting on the fence because this team has the makeup to do it. I just don't know that he can yet.
And to answer Aaron's comment here, he didn't show promise last year with limited help. He showed potential. I'm not saying he had a bad year last year. You have to win some of those games. He has to do, like, I thought Brian Flores did a hell of a job scheming around to get these wins, in my opinion. Like, that's really kind of what it was. And those kind of just those trick plays with Jalen Waddle and the fancy plays that they did. But he's got potential. I'm not saying he can't do it. I don't have that much. Like, I'm not sold on him being the guy. I'm not saying, okay, he's going to be the guy. And you look at the standings here, Aaron is very high at 10-7. AJ's at 9-8. Dylan, you are the lowest at 6-11, and I'm at 8-9. I'm thinking, I think AJ and I are on the same page here. As they're on the same level as last year. And honestly, to me, when you look at 8-9, I would say that that's better than last year. And I know they finished 9-8. But we talk about the schedule when we pull that schedule up. If they can finish 8-9 with this schedule, I think that's very good. And AJ's record was 9-8. So if you can do that with this schedule, I think that is a step forward in the right direction. And if Tua can get you that record, I think that is a step in the right direction, because you're not going to win not 8 or 9 games if Tua is not going to be impactful. And I have them, let's see my schedule for the Dolphins and their wins, their notable wins. Beating New England. I have them beating Buffalo in week 15. I have them beating Green Bay. And I have them beating the Jets at the end of the season. Like, I have some pretty notable wins for the Miami Dolphins on this schedule. So that to me is it's good.
You also have some pretty notable losses then. I'm surprised to hear you have them beating Green Bay. That's one of the teams I thought that they wouldn't be able to take hold of. I think Green Bay's on another level than Miami as of this point in time.
I think Green Bay goes down to Miami on Christmas. That's tough for them. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Miami
Christmas Day. Yeah. And I think really and we talk about it like what I said in the beginning. With their schedule, the way it starts off, it's like, okay, it's going to be tough and it's going to be hard to, like, you're figuring out this new team and getting everyone in that rhythm, because obviously they're going to have all this time in camp and practice and preseason to get the flow going, but it's much different once the regular season starts. It might take time for them to really start building what they actually have, especially when you're going up against Baltimore, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Cleveland, if they have Deshaun Watson. Those are tough games. So I think that they end up coming out of the bye with a more figured out sense of what this team is about.
Their schedule's in pockets. Like, overall, you look at their schedule, it kind of fluctuates, but then they have these 3 and 4 game stretches with really tough teams in there, a couple gauntlets, and that's where there's an issue. It's those games that you have to get out of, and it's one of those situations where it's like, if you can pull out 2 wins in this 4-game stretch, you're staying in good shape. And that's where the 1 game at a time mentality has to really be strong. You can't look ahead when you're the Miami Dolphins in this schedule this year, especially with so much on the line. Not only for Tua, but for this franchise, really. I mean, you just got a new head coach and everything, but let's not forget there's still a lot of murmur around the Miami Dolphins organization that doesn't have to do with football, so to speak, as far as on the field, but a lot of eyes are on Miami, and sometimes winning will help people forget that. So they definitely need to have a good season. I'm okay with what their offense can do. I need to know what that front seven can do.
Yeah, exactly.